Welcome, everyone, and thank you for being here today on this great day at Temple University. We all know that higher education is changing. It was changing before COVID, but last year surely accelerated this process. For Temple to continue to thrive, we need a leader who understands what the future of higher education looks like. We need a leader who understands the changes in how education is delivered and the nature of the college experience itself. We are delighted to announce that we have found that dynamic leader who fits our time and our future with the selection of Dr. Jason Wingard. Dr. Wingard's qualifications are extraordinary. His selection marks a new chapter in Temple's proud history. While it is a historic appointment, his outstanding leadership skills and expertise are the most compelling. His knowledge of organizational strategies, leadership development, and the future of work will help guide our graduates as they compete in a working world to succeed in their chosen careers. I'm especially proud through the thoughtful process that guided our selection of Dr. Wingard. Over the last 10 months, we consulted with the university community, the North Philadelphia neighbors, as well as educational, civic leaders across the country. We conducted a nationwide search and reviewed more than 300 qualified candidates. Our group of trustees, faculty leaders, student representatives were unanimous in choosing Dr. Wingard to the board and recommending him to be our next president. We are delighted that he has accepted our offer. We welcome Jason and his family to Temple's community. We're excited about his appointment and what the future holds for Temple University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Temple's next president, Dr. Jason Wingard.
Good afternoon. First, I want to thank God for the opportunity to be here. This is really a blessing. Chairman Morgan, our fearless leader and committed leader, thank you very much for your leadership and for this opportunity. Search committee, 10 months, long, hard work, and you didn't get paid. I know that, but you did it in service of Temple University. So thank you very much for your commitment. Trustees, thank you for the confidence that you are placing in me. And to the broader Temple University community, faculty, staff, students, alumni, I'm proud to represent you. And to my family who are here with me today, I want to thank you all for your support. They know I'm going to possibly cry, so I'm going to try to keep it together. I'm a crier. To my parents, Dr. Levi Wingard and Marcy Wingard, thank you for your long-standing support. You've always been there. To my wife, my partner in life, Gingy, thank you very much. And to my kids, the J crew, Jalen, Jaya, Jazz, Joy, and Jackson. You guys are the best. Thank you. And to my extended family, my sister, Dr. Leslie Wingard, my in-laws, Dr. Alice Duff and Joseph Duff, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, family, everybody. It takes a village to be standing right here, and I really appreciate it. I have a long-standing, lifelong relationship with Temple University. Many people don't know that. Over 40 years ago, I began coming to this campus and this community with my father, who was in graduate school at Temple University. I spent many, many nights walking the streets, playing ball with the neighborhood kids, roaming the campus, meeting faculty, meeting students, talking with security guards. I had a long, long history with Temple, and I really enjoyed that initial foundation. It became the pinnacle for me. It became this magical place. And so to be here today, I'm really proud because I always looked at Temple as this wonderful place. One of those people that I met and I spent some time with was Coach Don Chaney. I would go to his office as a 7, 8-year-old kid, and I got a chance to spend time with him, and he really inspired me. He was an idol. I got a chance to go to his camp here in Philly. I got a chance to go to one in Ambler. I spent many summers doing basketball in the summer leagues. He would sit me down and he would say, and he would sit me down when I was 6, And he would sit me down years later when he was retired, and he used to hold court at the Walnut Lane Golf Course. And I would spend hours with him listening to him talk about all the stories of leadership. And he said, young Wingard, you have two things to remember about being successful. Number one, get up early. Number two, work harder than your peer. I have been doing really well working harder than my peer. I have a little bit of work to do while getting up early. I also have come to idolize Bob Perkins, Temple Radio, WRTI, BP with the GM, Bob Perkins with the good music. He's the smooth song of jazz, and he's still on the air today, and I have listened to him throughout my life. So a long history with Temple University, excuse me. I went away to college, and I had an opportunity to see the country, spent time in California several times, spent time in Atlanta, spent time in Boston. But as Philadelphians often do, I came back home. And as Californians, my wife grew up in Los Angeles, often don't do, she fell in love with Philadelphia. So together, we have been back in Philadelphia for 23 years. We've raised our family here. We've gone to school here. We've worked here. And we have followed Temple University because Temple University is the educational heartbeat of this city, of this region. And so we have been proudly supporting and following Temple University for all these 23 years. We've also been following and inspired by Temple Health. Temple Health is impactful. It provides such quality healthcare and service for this region, it's unparalleled. And so we're really proud of those two things. A lot of people have been asking me, why Temple? I've had a career of spending time at a variety of different universities, a variety of different businesses all over the country. And so people say, wonderful opportunity, but why Temple? Well, there's three reasons for me. Number one, Temple is best in class in education and research, best in class in athletics, best in class in health. And so I am just really proud that Temple represents excellence, full stop. And if you don't know that, if you didn't know that, you're going to hear a lot more about that from me and from our team. You know, we are going to be unabashed about celebrating and demonstrating the excellence that Temple University has to offer. And so that's the first number one reason why Temple. The second reason why Temple is equity and access. What's the point of having a best-in-class education if people can't get to it, if people can't afford it? You have to make education accessible and available in order for it to be beneficial in the way that we all want. I believe that. I know you all believe that. And so that's the second reason why. Temple is an accessible and inclusive and equitable institution. It trains people in the best possible way, and people get jobs and they are successful, and no one else can say more than Temple what quality means in that regard. Number three is innovation and learning. So Chairman Morgan talked about it. I actually have a book that is coming out and being released today. It's called The Great Skills Gap. In that book, it talks about my research that companies around the world are clamoring because they said it used to be that we could go to universities and get top talent. And that top talent could come and work for us at our companies and we could be successful. But that's no longer the case. No longer are the universities of this country and the world providing us with the talent that we need to be successful. So what does that mean? That means that universities have to find ways to be innovative, find ways to adapt to the changing times of the workplace, and adapt to that in a way that makes students more successful, gaining the competencies they need to be able to get the jobs and do what those employers want. Temple has the foundation for that. Temple has been doing that for many, many years, and we are going to advance and accelerate that moving forward. So with that context, there are three themes that I want to focus on moving forward. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of people to meet, a lot of research, a lot of listening. But there are three guiding themes that I want to share with you about my presidency starting off. The first is that I am committed to service as Temple's chief ambassador. Chief ambassador. People keep asking me, how are you going to make Temple excellent? And I just told you, Temple's already excellent. I believe that. But we need a chief ambassador to pull up the hood and show people what's underneath that hood. There's a lot of good stuff here, a lot of good research, a lot of good health practices, good teaching and learning, good sports. And so I'm going to use my platform to be able to tell that story. And it's a really good story. So I will work on that, and I will do it in two different ways. But more importantly, people say, well, what is excellent? You know, teaching and learning, excellent. Research productivity, excellent. Career placement, excellent. Patient care evaluation, excellent. Athletics, student service, excellent. Alumni engagement, president is here, excellent. Media relations for all of you, excellent. So there's a lot to talk about, and I'm excited about that. What is my role going to be? Okay, so Chief Ambassador, I'm going to amplify, I'm going to support that excellence. Second theme, we're going to enhance Temple's value proposition. So I just got done saying that many employers, the Googles of the world, the General Electrics, they're saying that we're not supplying the talent that they want. Well, if that's the case, then prospective students and their parents are going to say, well, what's the point in spending money on tuition if it's not worth it anymore? Well, Temple University has the platform to be able to do that. We're going to adapt to the change. We're going to ask them, what is it that you want, employers? We're going to make sure our curriculum reflects that. We're going to make sure that our teaching and our learning and our applied experiences are all aligned with what the marketplace needs so that the value of the education is aligned in that way. So we're going to work on that, and that's going to be important. That dynamically changing world needs to be addressed, and we're going to address it through thought leadership, we're going to address it through research, and we're going to address it through applied learning and skill development. And then number three, the third theme is community engagement. I fervently believe that although we have a global reach, Temple is Philadelphia's university, and we need to be engaged with the community surrounding the main campus, Philadelphia, and the region at large, in addition to the nation. And so in order to do that, that means we have to deepen our relationships with all of the key stakeholders and constituents that are involved in this community. And we're going to do that. We're going to prioritize it, and we're going to engage authentically. It's going to take time. It's going to take resource. It's going to take listening and collaboration. And that is something that we are going to do. We are going to focus on that tremendously. And we're also going to deepen our relationships with the broader region. So to make sure that neighborhoods, the government officials, industry, Temple University is a pillar of strength for this region. And I want to make sure that we take every opportunity to represent this region with the strength that we have, okay? So in the words of John Chaney, young Wingard, make sure you get up. I'll do that better. Make sure that you work harder than your peers, and I will do that. So I'm really pleased to be here today to represent Temple University. I'm looking forward to an exciting new era, and I'm most excited about building on the platform of excellence that already exists. We're going to have a good ride, and we're going to serve our students and the broader Temple University community really well. So I'll take your questions now. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. That's a great question. I have absolutely given thought to it. Not only have I given thought, but I have lived it. It's a lived experience for me. I spend time in the communities, many communities in and around Philadelphia, but North Philly also. And so, as I said earlier, the goal is to listen. The goal is to understand where the need is. The goal is to try to find alliances and points of mutual benefit. And so I already understand, I have a baseline of context around that. And I know that there are some areas of strength where there has been success. And I know there are some areas of weakness where we have gaps and we need to close. And so have I given any thought to it? Absolutely. Have I been experiencing that? Yes, I have. Have I been engaged in the battle, in the discussions, in the success? Yes, I have. And so what we have to do moving forward is to put more time into it, as I said, more resource, more listening, more collaborative opportunities, more coordination. It's not easy work. You know, working between a university and a community region is very difficult. And so the only way you attack that is by spending the time and energy and the resource and making sure that that engagement is authentic and not just surface level. Thank you for the question. Yeah, in the back. Thank you. Oh, here we go. We're already talking about this. So I start July 1st, first of all. So where's President Wingard? So maybe I'll pass along that question to him, but I'll expand your question more broadly. So if your question is about what are going to be the COVID requirements for students moving forward, every policy question, every dictate that we make as an administration, it's based on best practice, it's based on research, it's based on analysis. We'll listen to public officials, public health officials. We will take the advice and counsel of our peers, other universities, and we will then think very critically about how we want to proceed in the fall. And so I can't answer that question now. You know, President Wingard and the team are thinking about that now. I will be thinking about it when I start July 1, and we will do what's in the best interest of our faculty and our students relative to public health and relative to best practice. Okay? Yes. So 137 years, I stand before you today. I certainly recognize the significance of this moment. I'm proud of it. I recognize Chairman Morgan continues to say he was looking for the best candidate to fill this seat. And he thinks and believes, as well as the committee, that I am the best candidate to fulfill this role. And I believe that as well. But as an African American, never having been in this position, I recognize the significance of it. And I am very proud of it. And to your question about whether somebody should have been in this role before, I'm not going to answer that. All I can say is there have been qualified Black candidates who have preceded me, and they have not been in the role. But this is a great time. You know, we have proceeded to a time in our country's history, in this school's history, when I can stand before you as a qualified African American male to lead this institution, and I'm excited about it. So thank you. Yeah. You know, what was the elevator people may have told you apart I think that the search committee was looking for a few things. They wanted someone who felt passionately about Temple University, about its history, about its current success, about its potential and future trajectory. And I checked those boxes. They wanted somebody who understood that Temple resides in a community and that mutual beneficial relationship is necessary for both to thrive, the community and the university. And as I said earlier, I understand that and I have lived that. They also wanted somebody who could be an ambassador for the success. We don't want to be a stepchild. We don't want to not be proud of who we are. And Temple University is proud of who we are. And I want the world to be proud of who we are and to see the excellence that is demonstrated on this campus and throughout this institution. And so they were very excited about the passion I have for telling the story and serving as the ambassador for the excellence that already exists. Yes. Thank you. So my priority on July 1 is to start listening. I've been a leader in a lot of different types of organizations, and in some cases, you start working on the day one. You have an agenda, you're organized, you have a strategic plan. I have my 90-day plan, and I start going after it. But in this context, the organization is running really well. There's a lot of excellence, there's a lot of best practice. And so I want to learn more about what those excellent pockets are. I'm going to listen to our constituents and our stakeholders. I want to get ideas about how we can allocate resources accordingly in the right places, where our priorities should lie. I'm going to spend time the first part of my tenure listening. Thank you very much, everyone. All right, thank you.